Hello, I am so glad you can join me today. If you're new to this channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Guys, today I am making a recipe that is a favorite in Barbados. I don't know if it's a favorite in Barbados, but it is something that I grew up eating in Barbados. And I just changed it up a little bit because you know me, I have to just add a little spin onto it to make it just right for you guys, okay? That's what I do, okay? But I'm making something that we make in Barbados. It is called cornmeal bakes or cornmeal fritters or cornmeal muffins. So there's like 3 different ways that you can call it. It is, we make something in Barbados called a bake, which is basically just flour and sugar and water and so on. That's something that people ate growing up because it was something that was easy to make and to feed a lot of people. Okay, when you had money, these were things that you made. Today it's almost like a delicacy. It is wonderful, especially if you haven't eaten in a long time. It tastes marvelous, baby, marvelous. So what I'm making today is cornmeal bakes or cornmeal fritters. Today I'm going to be making those for you, but I'm also going to be making cornmeal pancakes. So they're all the same thing, and I'm going to show you how to make them. It's very easy to make, so let's go ahead and make them. But instead of doing this in the oven like I did a cornbread in the oven, these are going to be fried on top of the stove with oil. Okay, I'm going to use olive oil. You can use any kind of oil that you prefer. I like to use olive oil because I think it's good, and when you're gonna, especially if you're frying stuff that's going into your system, you need to use a good oil. Okay, so let me start by using some flour here. This is 1.5 cups of flour, and I'm gonna sieve this flour. This is the cornmeal that I'm gonna use, and this is 3/4 cup of cornmeal. I'm just gonna pour that in there. I have some sugar, this is some light brown sugar, and this is also 3/4 cup of sugar that we're gonna spread in there. And I have some baking powder here, and I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So let me go ahead and measure that for you. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm gonna take my little whisk here and just kind of mix everything up. Make sure everything is combined. Oh, and salt. Can't forget the salt. We need a little bit of salt. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And spray that in there. You need a little kind of salt to balance everything out. So once this is mixed up, I'm gonna just set it aside for a few minutes. Then over here, I'm gonna use, I have here a cup, this is almond milk. Now guys, I'm using almond milk. You can use water, it goes just as well. If you don't have milk, water is fine because that's what we use in the islands. You can use regular evaporated milk or whatever kind of milk you have, or regular milk, because I use that evaporated milk sometimes, or your regular whatever milk. But this is almond milk, okay? And to this milk, I'm going to add 2 eggs. I'm gonna take my 2 eggs and I'm gonna add it to the milk that I have here. Now, you can stop here, you can mix this up and just add it to there. But in the islands, our old people used to like to also spice things up a little bit, make it tasty, okay? So I'm gonna add to this 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence. Yes. I'm also gonna add a little bit of, you can measure it out. You can add a 1/2 teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just gonna put a little dash in there, maybe like a 1/2 teaspoon. And I have here a nutmeg, okay? So I'm gonna grate it, so you can see like 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. You can grate it if you have the powdered nutmeg. I'm going to grate it a little bit in here. I'm not putting too much in it because I don't want it to kind of overpower the taste. So you put a little dash of nutmeg in there. And now I'm just gonna mix this up. See, we make something in Barbados, I said, called bakes, and Jamaicans make something called festivals. We put sugar in ours, they don't put sugar in theirs. So we did think that we're a little bit weird, but we love it sweet, guys. We usually add a little sugar to everything that we do. I also have in here a little bit of coconut oil. This is an exception. You don't have to use coconut oil. Sometimes people use butter. Sometimes you can do it without. So if you don't want, I mean, if you're a person that don't like eggs, you can eliminate the eggs. You don't have to put the eggs in here. You can put some coconut oil. If you don't, you can put some butter. Otherwise, you can also leave that out as well. It's just going to taste just as good, okay? But those are options that you have. So I'm going to add that. This is 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I melted it in the microwave and just heat this up, okay? So now that I have that, this is all done. So now I'm gonna combine these and mix these together. But before I get started, this piece of hair in my face. Before I get started on mixing these together, I'm gonna put some oil in my pan. So to get my pan heated up, so while I'm putting this together, my pan will get hot, okay? So let's go over to the stove and put some oil in the pan. This is my pan here, guys, and I have some olive oil. And you don't have to put a whole lot, just enough to cover the pan. Because we're gonna flip them. So we just need enough to cover the pan. While the oil is getting hot, I will continue making my cornmeal fritters. So now I made a little well here. And I'm gonna take some of my mixture and just pour it there in the well. You can pour a little bit at a time just to make sure that you have the right texture, because you don't want to make it too wet or you don't want it to be too dry. You want it to be just the right mixture, and I will show you in a few minutes what it should look like. But just remember, if you're ever doing something like this, you miss and put too much liquid in, you can add some more flour to it. It's not a big deal. And just mix it in. You don't need a hand mixer or anything for this. You could just do it right like this in your hand, with your hand. See? And that's about it, guys. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna pour the rest of the mixture in because we're gonna use all of it. Because for the measurements that I give you, this is just the right measurements for that. I can smell the vanilla, and this smells good. These in the morning, you can have these with your breakfast. You know, you can have it in the evening. Sometimes, you know, you have your dinner, you want something sweet to eat. You can also make these. You can make them in the afternoon. You can make them anytime that you want to make them. And you just mix it up well, and look at the texture here. Do you see the texture, guys? This is what you're looking for right here. It's not too wet and it's not too dry. Let's go over to the stove and check our oil to see if the oil is hot enough. And you hear that bubble up, and that tells me that my just step back so you don't burn yourself. But it tells me that my oil is hot enough and my oil is ready. Some people put a little drop of the batter in there, which you can do that as well. Okay, guys, so I have a pretty big spoon here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a spoonful and just drop it in there. If you want them bigger than that, you can use a bigger spoon. If you want them smaller, you use a smaller spoon. And just go ahead and drop them. I'm making a little bit of mess. You could do it a little bit neater than me. And then you start to look and you see it start to bubble at the top. This is like when you're making pancakes, you know, it starts to bubble, so you can tell we're almost time to flip it. And you go ahead and you flip it. Okay guys, so to make our pancake, we are going to take one of our measuring cups, because you can make your pancake as big as you want, and you're gonna just pour the batter in there. And of course this pan is only gonna make one at a time. And as you can see, as it starts to bubble on the top, you know it's time to go ahead and flip it. So let's flip it. A little bit brown, but that's good. That's okay. Guys, we're all done. See, that was very simple and very easy. You can make pancakes in the morning, or you can just make some little fritters, or you know, whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter. They're all the same thing. So I made here a couple pancakes. Let me just take one of the pancakes out. Here you are. Here we go. And I also make a couple of the fritters. So normally in the islands, this is the size that we make in the islands, okay? And this one here is what is made up here as pancakes. So I am gonna go ahead and taste it for you. Now, normally with the pancakes, you can put a little bit of butter on here, and you know, if you want that extra butter to kind of melt down, you can put a little bit of butter on here. I'm not gonna use the butter. I'm just gonna use my syrup, and we're gonna put a little syrup on it so I can taste it for you. Guys, look what it looks like. I don't know if you can get a good close-up of it like that. See that? It looks nice and soft right there. Dip a little bit in my syrup, so let me taste it. That is good. See, what is good about this is it's not falling apart. Because sometimes you go, you buy cornmeal pancakes, and you breaking and you cutting it, and it just falls apart. This one is not falling apart. It stays together. It's nice, and it's, as you can see right here, it's nice and soft. Okay, moist. You dip it in your syrup, and you see the amount of sugar that I put in it is not overly sweet. It's a little sweet, so you don't necessarily need a syrup. You can have it without the syrup. If you want the extra syrup, you can do that. I can taste a little bit of vanilla. No, this is good. Now in the islands, when we eat this, we eat it just like that. We eat it without, you don't need syrup or anything. Eat it just like that. So you have choices. You have choices here. But it tastes better with the syrup. Guys, that is good. It is nice. It is moist. It is not too sweet, so you can put your little syrup on top of it to get more of a little sweet taste, or you can just have it just like that without the syrup. But it is delicious. Guys, make yourself some cornmeal pancakes, or some cornmeal fritters, or some tiny little cornmeal pancakes, whatever you want to call them. Just make yourself some and enjoy. Very quick, very easy to make. Guys, I had fun, and I hope you get a chance to make this for your family. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the channel. If you have not already pressed that bell notification, go ahead and press the bell notification because it notifies you every time I put a video up. I had fun, guys. I really did, and I hope you have fun as well. Until next time, bye-bye.